Hey guys, well, it is Monday, and since it's Monday, we're gonna start big. We got a lot going on this week. My Chiarosky is running late. It won't be here till tomorrow. However, we are gonna do that this week. We are gonna do the Glam and Glitz, that eye gel diamond ombre powder that I got. I have that dashboard brush coming. I have this gun head brush that I am gonna post tomorrow because someone requested it. I've had it here for a while. I've used it a little bit. I just never got around to posting it or doing the video for it. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Since someone would like to know if they should purchase it, we always bump those to the front of the line. Today, however, since it's Monday and I didn't get to do much over the weekend, we're gonna start big, and we're gonna start with the cheapest silicone practice hand on Amazon. Oh, also, since we reached 500, I told you guys that we'd give it a week so people could enter the Young Nails Core Kit giveaway. So I will be drawing for that, I think, on Thursday, because that's the day we hit 500. Give it a full week. That way anyone else who wants to enter can. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about practice hands. This is the cheapest one I could find on Amazon that was actual silicone and, you know, somewhat reasonable. It was, when I first found it, it was like 45 with a 5% off coupon. So it ended up being like $42. And then the coupon wasn't there when I went to buy it. But so it ended up being 45 bucks. Still about $20 cheaper than the next one up. And it looks surprisingly like my first practice hand, the No You practice hand, which I got on Alibaba. Me and a friend went in together on it. So I got it for $40, but on Amazon, it was $80. So I only got it because we went through, you know, that whole mess. And we went in together and you had to purchase at least two. So we went in together and purchased two. This is how it showed up with the box taped shut like this. And it didn't fit in the box, so the fingers were bent over like that. And it was inside of a broccoli bag, which, okay. So. Now, it only came in two colors, this and the darker version, but the darker version you had to buy two and it was $80 for two. Not sure why. My guess is whoever the seller is, they bought them in bulk as well and didn't want to buy the whole range of colors because then you got to pay more. So I didn't realize till I went to record this video that I no longer have any extra clamps because mine is fixed on my hand. So we are going to improvise today. Cool thing about this one is it's heavy enough that you can do that. So we're just gonna chill it right there. And you can just do that. It's weird. Oh, blue hair. That must be mine. Not Ozzy this time. Okay, so the material that these are made out of is like that new skin stuff, and it attracts every hair, every piece of dust, everything. Everything will stick to it. You will have to wash it every single time you're done. However, you can just stick it under warm water in the sink and everything will come off. All the dust and the filing dust and the hair and yada yada. So the cuticles aren't super thick or very like ridiculously deep. However, they're decent. You can kind of see here. Let's get a little bit closer for you guys. There we go. So they're not crazy, but they're there. They have the pocket, you know. They go back probably, let's see, how far back? So they go back almost half an inch on the bigger fingers. And there are a couple ways you can do this. Now, one second. So what I like to do, what I used to do, and what I still do sometimes, instead of using the XXL tips and then just cutting them down and working on that, which is easier, you know. However, I tend to miss steps in the routine if I don't do it the same way every time. So what I like to do, so I don't miss any steps when I'm doing nails on myself or someone else, what I will do is take one of these French tips and I will glue that inside of there and then cut it down so it looks like, you know, a regular nail bed. Cut it down to the size of a regular nail bed, and then I will glue a tip on that. That way I'm still going through the process of cutting and blending and, you know, my usual prep routine. That way I don't miss anything next time. So for the purposes of this, though, I'm not gonna make you guys watch me do all that. we are going to use one of the long ones, but that's just one of the options. Now, so they tell you don't need to glue the nails in. I did need to glue the nails in because I'm an aggressive filer, and I will yank it right out of there. So what I like to do, now if you just glue it straight to this nail bed, it is going to pull, when you go to pull it off, if you don't soak it in acetone until it falls off, you're going to pull pieces of that silicone off very easily. And what will happen is something like this. It will pull chunks off. And once you've pulled chunks off of that, anytime, whether you use primer or not after that, it's still going to pull chunks off. The primer won't help after that. So make sure if you're gluing it that you do use primer from the very first time. And what I've found that works for me, when you put the primer on, let it dry, and it gives you a nice barrier between the silicone and the glue. It'll still glue down, but the glue won't, you know, sink in there. So what I like to do, I told you guys I use this cheap glue because it's just enough to stick, but not enough that it's there forever. And I can usually just crack it off because, you know, it's not very good glue. So what I like to do, instead of gluing it right here, I put the primer there anyway, just as precaution. Instead of gluing it here, I put the glue on the back of the tip, and then that way it glues back underneath the cuticle into that well instead of on your nail bed. That way it doesn't tear up your nail beds. So just kind of go in diagonally like this and push it all the way back and then hold it down. Situate your cuticles. And then just give it a second to, you know, fix itself. Jesus. And then if you do it this way, what you can do then is cut it down and then treat it as you would, you know, any other nail. Now we are going to apply acrylic to this today so I can drill it and soak it off and show you guys everything. Now this one is fully posable all the way through, and it is heavy, like it is solid. Granted, the cuticles are kind of thin, but the hand itself probably weighs 1.5 pounds. It's pretty good, heavy, like silicone, which is good. I mean, so here's my thought on this. There's nothing wrong with red iguana. Well, I mean, I have my beef with them, but I got beef with everybody, so, you know, whatever. My issue is paying $200 for a practice hand when you're learning how to behave with the practice hand. I think, like, I like this one to learn on first because you're gonna trash it. You're gonna mess it up. Plus, my friend bought one of the red iguana hands, and then the metal rod in one of the fingers broke like after a week or two. And it just, you know, the finger never laid right again. It wasn't posable after that. It just laid down. So now, if I pay $45 for a hand, I'm not going to cry when I break it because I break a lot of things. I'm very rough on things, and I don't want to pay so much that it's going to upset me when I inevitably break it, because I always do. And I feel like that's what this is. This is a hand to learn on. Now, if you treat it gently, it will last you for a while. Like, it's not complete garbage. However, if you don't, it's not that big of a deal to replace it. And then at that point, you've learned a little bit about silicone hands, and you can, you know, treat the next one a little better, or even upgrade now that you know? So one of the issues with this one is when you go to file, because the cuticles aren't super thick, if you don't pull that finger skin back far enough, you can slice right through that. So you want to make sure, just as you would with a regular person, that you're holding that skin back when you file the sides. That way you're not cutting through cuticles, which actually is really good practice on the hand, because you can do that to a real person too. I do it all the time. If I don't season my file, I slice right through. So you definitely want to make sure you're doing that anyway. And it is actually, because they're so flimsy, it's kind of even better practice because you can cut it like you can a person. My practice hand, I can't really cut through. And I did that on purpose because of my tendency to destroy things. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I didn't get to post over the weekend, so I have a lot I want to do this week. the stuff we didn't get to last week. I still have all that Model 1s I want to do. So, you know, it's going to be a busy week. I'll probably be posting every day again. I'm still not sure what's going on with the uploads, why they are taking a day and a half for HD and 4K to upload. Standard Vision uploads immediately and processes immediately, and you're able to see it right away. But for some reason, people on iPhones, because they can only view it in HD and 4K, aren't able to see it until the next day when it's finished processing. I don't know why. I'm sorry. You might be able to view it through your browser if that's the case. Go to youtube.com in your browser, or find something older to watch it on, because otherwise I can't even watch it on my phone. It's ridiculous. Okay, so I'm using that Young Nail Speed Clear, which I like. This is really good for capping because it does set really quickly and you're not sitting around waiting for it after you've already finished your set. So I like it for that. Thank you, Shayla, for the recommendation. Because, you know, I don't have a ton of confidence, so I typically stayed away from the Speed Clear or the Speed anything because, you know, I need to give myself room to make mistakes. But you know what? She was right. It's just clear. And when you're capping, you know, that's not the super important part, so you can't really mess it up too bad at that point. So why not, right? And I trusted myself, and look at me go. So, oh, I want to show you guys something I was learning to do today as well. So this is what I was doing today. I was learning how to do this pigmented watercolor stuff, just to see if I could, you know, because I'm not really great at nail art or hand painting, so it was kind of fun to see if I could do that. I learned it from Susie on Nail Career Education. So I might do a little thing on that because I found a slightly easier way to make that happen as well. Because that's what this channel is all about. I'm lazy, right? And I want to find the cheapest, easiest way to do things. So we are going to take the drill to this bad boy, just so I can show you guys how well it does there. And we're going to file, and then we're going to soak it off. So I can show you my way of soaking it off because I'm super impatient. I'm not going to leave it sit in acetone. Although acetone will not harm this silicone. You could leave it in there for quite some time and it's going to be fine. I don't like to wait. I'm very impatient. And so that's why I found another way. Same as with everything else. The easiest, fastest way to get it done without doing a ton of work. You know me. You know me. I'm lazy. Anyway. Okay. Well, let's do a little bit more at the cuticle. I want to get close. That's pretty close. Close enough that if I slip even a little bit, I'm going to ding that cuticle. Now, if you touch it with the file, it's not going to rip it apart. However, if you're like me and you're very rough and, you know, you run the risk of, you know, drilling through it, so. And that's okay, because this one only costs $45. However, I saw people having the same issue with the red iguana. And that's not just because of the issues I have with them. I don't say that just because of the very public argument I got into with them on Instagram. Like, their hands are great. Don't get me wrong. Do I think they're worth $200? No. Oh, also, in the next couple of weeks, I am going to be making my own and showing you guys a cheap way to make your own at home. So that'll be fun too. And I've been working on making that Glitterbels nail desk, but my surgery kind of interrupted that and I didn't get around to it. So, okay, so we're gonna let this sit. And let me, in the meantime, while we let that set, let me show you guys some of my practice hands and what I've done to them. This hand, I got it at Sally's for 10 bucks. This is Jeff. As you see, Jeff's been through some things. We named him Jeff because I know a lot of Jeffs and every single one of them is difficult to work with. So that's why Jeff got this name, because it is impossible to do acrylic on these things. You have to glue everything right to the plastic. It's awful. It's just like those weird little fingers And I've been through quite a few of those too. This was my first silicone hand, as you can see. Now this isn't from glue. This is where I tried to fix it with that Silpoxy stuff, the silicone repair stuff. I tried to make new nail beds and nope. As you can see, I never used the thumb on any of my practice hands. You guys know that. So the thumb is still in great shape. And as you can see, they are very similar. This one you can tell Ozzy got a hold of this one. These ones are very similar right down to the shape of the knuckles. Like, it's weird. Oh, wait, let me show you my first plastic one. So as I was learning to file gently, this is this is my first plastic hand, the mechanical hand. So these things kept sliding off on me, and when they would slide off, they would pop those nail beds out. So I had to tape it down. Well, after a while, these things started to space out and they would pop out of there. So I started gluing them in. And then you can see where I filed through the finger pieces on every single finger. That's why I have a box of replacement fingertips something around here somewhere. It's got like 50 replacement rubber fingertips in it. Now this is my second plastic hand. I had this one for about 2 weeks before I got my silicone hand, and I already had to replace the fingertips on it. These are those rubber replacement fingertips. Let me show you. So you can see how this is all spaced out, where when I would file, they never want to stick in there correctly, and because they don't clip in right, what happens is they end up pulling that open, and they just never sit right after that. I don't know where that finger went. But the first day I got this, I snapped this white piece off of the middle finger immediately. So I had to glue that back on. But yeah, so that was my second plastic one after I should have known better and been better at this, but still an aggressive filer. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of my second silicone practice hand real quick. Now that one survived a little bit. And the reason that one survived is because I didn't use it much. I put it away and I was practicing on myself and other people, and I started doing the reviews, so I wasn't pulling it out every day, and it survived. It made it out of here alive. I gave it to someone else, so because it was still in pretty good shape. This one's still doing okay. We've lost a couple of pieces in the nail beds, but those cuticles, man, they are tough as nails. They aren't going anywhere. All right, so this is ready. So we're gonna give it a little file. Basically, I'm just, showing that you can do the normal stuff with it. So remember, we're pulling back that skin, which I guess it isn't too bad that the cuticles are so fragile on here, because it does teach you to be very careful around the cuticle and, not beat a person to death. So that's good, I guess. That is actually more realistic than mine, because mine, I can drill onto it for half an hour and those cuticles it's not going to touch them, which isn't realistic, So I have a tendency to hold it down right here, and that's just because it moves around a lot, which you should probably be doing anyway when you're working on a person. You should be holding their finger. So what I like to do to keep from slicing through those cuticles is when I pull it back, I put my finger between the cuticle and the file. And as long as you're seasoning your files, you'll be all right there. All right. See, the glue came off. Oh yeah, we gotta put that back on, because we need to soak that off so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right. See, the primer kind of left and stuck to the inside of this. So it doesn't stick to silicone very well, which is kind of the point. So diagonally into the cuticle, put that back down there. It's cool because you can just kind of flip them back out. Okay, now, by the way, the clamps for these things that you see for 20, 30 bucks on Amazon, it's a cell phone holder. That's all it is. It's a cell phone clamp that you stick on your table. Just look for the one with the complete clip and not just the claw thing, and you'll be fine. They're like 12 bucks. Don't pay 30 bucks for a clamp. It's exactly the same thing. And I know that because I've used them. And they are literally exactly the same thing. All right, so just as with any normal finger, you should be getting as close to the cuticle as you can to kind of blend that back. And you want to avoid the actual skin. So again, it is great for realistic practice just because it's so fragile, you know, because it's thinner back there. And the reason these ones are a little thinner is because instead of putting more silicone on top and cutting and doing the cutout, they did the plain mold and then cut that piece out. Whereas with like this one, they kind of layered it, and that's like the top of the finger, and then they added more silicone to the top of it, like right where the cuticles are. You can kind of see that lump right here. Oh, you can't see. Here, let me tip you up a little bit. So you can see on these fingers how right here there's like a lump. So they added more for the cuticles as opposed to how they did this one, just cutting it out or burning it, however they did that. All right, with my fancy dancy clamp there. And you shouldn't be going this way with your drill anyway, which again would be bad for the cuticles. Because yeah, you're gonna hurt somebody. So you should always be pulling away from the skin, whether you're working on yourself or someone else. If you're working on yourself, you go away. If you're working on someone else, same thing. So, and that's just gonna keep you from, you know, hurting anybody or yourself. Okay, I think we are ready. I don't know why I feel the need to finish that. It's just gonna bug me if I didn't at least get it somewhat situated, like looking like a reasonable nail. Okay, so what I like to do to get these nails off, because I'm not gonna soak that hand in a bowl of acetone. First of all, it's a waste of acetone. Because that tip's gonna melt in there and you can't use it after that, obviously. So I like to take a little, oh wait, where'd it go? So take a little dapping dish and just put a little tiny bit of acetone in it, because that's all you're gonna need. Or just, you know, spill it, whatever. Whatever suits you. You know, for me, it's spilling. And one way you can do it is I'm gonna flip this up so you guys can see what I'm doing. You can dip a Q-tip in the acetone and kind of work it down underneath that nail. However, the problem is Q-tips are kind of thick, and when you go to push it, it's gonna pull on the silicone. So what I like to do, what I figured out, you know the nail art brushes that you get, like a pack of them with 10 for, you know, $3 or $4. It comes with a couple liner brushes and these like hard gel brushes. I like to dip those in the acetone because they're thin enough to get down there, and they also push that silicone off, like you can see is happening. And they kind of brush it away from the tip, and it fits down there really well. Also, that brush will kind of get rid of any residue from the tip or the acetone or the glue or whatever. And then it should just pull right out. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean any glue or anything out of there. So, like I said, I think perfectly reasonable for a beginner practice hand. I didn't see a point. Now, that's not, if you want to spend that much, awesome. But don't feel like you have to, because it's not necessary to get realistic practice. You know what I mean? Like, you can get realistic practice with this one, and if you're kind to it, it'll last you a while. And if you're not, well, it's not the end of the world, because it was $45, which is still a lot of money, you know, but not as much as $200. So I think this is a perfectly legitimate option for a beginner silicone hand, and it's much better than the plastic hand, and those plastic hands are like $35 anyway. So, and you can't get realistic cuticle practice with those plastic hands because of the way the nail beds are. You don't have anything surrounding it. You just have that little ridge at the back, so you can't learn blending and whatnot with it. It's not realistic, and those nail beds on them are so wide They don't stay in. Like, and if you're gonna spend that much, spend the extra 10 bucks. Like I said, this isn't top of the line, but this will definitely get the job done. Okay, so I didn't kill it. As you guys can clearly see, it was alive when it left here. All in all, it's not awful. Like, it's totally worth the money, I feel like. Does it have some drawbacks? Yeah, it does. But those drawbacks can also be seen as benefits. You're gonna be more careful around the cuticles. You're gonna learn to be more careful. You can buy, let's see, 5 of these for the price of one of the red iguanas. So if you blow through them, so what? You'll learn how to behave with a practice hand before you really invest in an expensive one, which I think that's always good. And do I like that there are only 2 colors? No, but at least they try to be somewhat inclusive. You can also put makeup on these, by the way. Like bronzer or whatever, foundation, to change the skin tone. I don't like that there are only 2 skin tones, but that's why it's so cheap. The packaging is crap, that's why it's so cheap. Because the No You one came in a really pretty box, which is the same hand from the same manufacturer, just a different seller. The No You hand came in a really pretty box and it was 80 bucks. So I feel like I'm okay without having a pretty box, you know? And I showed you guys it was literally the same hand. So all in all, I think it's a solid buy. I think it's perfect for, you know, a first practice hand, especially if you're not sure, you know, how far into the nail game you want to go. You know what I mean? So definitely give this, I feel like this one's a win. It's a solid B, you know. You definitely get what you pay for and then some. So like I said, next week, I think I'm going to be showing you guys how to make one of these at home, posable and all. We're going all out for it. We are going to be doing, well, there's so much going on. So I'll probably be posting every day again, just because I have a lot I want to get through. I got excited. I got a bunch of stuff I wanted to show you guys, and then now I'm like, I can't wait. So we'll be doing Sconhead tomorrow, then either Kiara Sky or Glam and Glitz. Then we will be doing the dashboard brush whenever that gets here. We will be doing the eye gel diamond ombre powder and the other stuff that I got from them. We will be doing, what else? The Model 1 stuff. And maybe we'll do that nail art stuff. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. And like I said, on Thursday, we will do the drawing for the Young Nails core kit giveaway and the acrylic trial kit. So yeah, guys, we're at 525 already. How crazy is that? And don't forget, any Amazon links that I post are attached to my ID, so I do make a commission if you guys buy through them. I'm not saying buy through them. I'm just saying, since I'm posting the links anyway, may as well. And as always, thank you guys so much for your support, and thank you so much for watching.